Hi there, welcome to the Schwartz Art. My name is Mike Schwartz. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator. I'm working on making a coloring book using the Inktober 2025 prompts. Today's prompt is crown. Now, as you can see, I didn't record the pencil line art for this one. I'm a little disappointed in that. I really wanted to be able to get more of the pencil drawings recorded, so I'm going to work on that. It has to do with time in the day. I work full-time and am a dad, so carving out time in the day to do whole drawings, record, and even do voiceover stuff is challenging. So I do hope to have a couple of from pencil all the way to ink here in the next couple of days, and as the month goes on, maybe we'll get better and better, just like practicing art, practicing a new skill like YouTube. Videos should get better, more concise, but I still think I'm going to keep this impromptu narrative voice style. I kind of come in blind and just watch what I've recorded and let my thoughts flow. So for the prompt crown, this is an adventure coloring book, and I wanted my group of adventurers to have a pseudo story, and so part of that story would be, let's go to the king and see what kind of quests we can get. When I was thinking through this layout, I was thinking, okay, I want a throne room, I want my 3 characters, I want a guard, and I want a king. The king, I went with a cute little pig. I thought the design came out well as I was thumbnailing and figuring out what kind of characters I wanted in here. And I thought that like a ram warrior, a ram soldier guard would be pretty rad. So I went with that. I know my 3 characters, each one kind of hoping to bring out a little bit of personality. As our fox was he's a thief and a rogue. In our last drawing, he had stolen the tomato from the fruit seller, and in this drawing I wanted to have him eating that in front of the, in the king's throne room. I thought that was kind of a funny thing here. And our lizard wizard here is showing the fox an idea that he thinks is good for the group there. So he's casting his little image spell to say, hey, let's go get the reward for capturing this stag, this deer. I'm trying to kind of come up with personalities for these. I mean, obviously our lizard wizard is a little derpy, and I thought that would be kind of fun to have. You can never tell where he's looking. As a chameleon, you never tell where the chameleon is looking, so I thought that'd be cool. Coming up with concepts has been pretty fun. Get out the sketchbook and just make little squares and spend 5 minutes, thumbnail 8 ideas, and then just pick the one that really fits. And so I've been practicing that, and it's making me quicker on the pencil. I think the pencil drawing here only took me about half an hour, 45 minutes. So compared to the 3 or 4 hours the first drawing, I've already reduced my time down, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, in the next couple of drawings, be able to knock out a whole pencil and whole ink in one go, which would be pretty fun. Part of the idea here is I wanted I'm going to probably just go with Warrior Paladin. I'll probably rename this character over and over again. Wanted them to be looking for, they're going on their own personal quest. And so, approaching the king and the king approving, and the other 2 characters kind of in the background. They're not really paying attention to what's going on. They're coming up with their own little plan of how this adventure will go. And like all good adventures, they start with a fairly benign quest and will end up being sidetracked by some greater and bigger cause. So I look forward to that because that means that, like I said, I think these first 3 or 4 drawings will be guided, like a little story arc, but then everything after that will be the monster of the day or the challenge of the day that will lead them to the last prompt, which is award, which is kind of fun. With this Ram Warrior, I was just thinking, the heavily armored, statuesque soldier next to the king. Make him look a little beefy, make him look threatening. And then the pig king here, I really was looking at a lot of references for the throne and pulling up references of the poofy robes, and you really just want that like fur cape, a pig wearing a fur cape, kind of fun. The cushioned seat, and he's very short and squat and cute. I even gave him a little goatee, but I think he worked out really nice. I'm really pleased with how my pig king came out. Designing the space here too, I really wanted there to be, stained glass. I wanted rock walls and tapestries and pillars, and I even got my little light source, a little torch in the corner, so that there's just a lot of options for you to kind of gravitate towards with color. One of the things I'm really hoping to see is that people will look at the stone and look at the floor and maybe the same shapes, but then really decide, what, I want that wall to be made of red stone, and I want the floor to be made of turquoise stone, and really kind of build color into these spaces. I think I mentioned it yesterday in my last video that throwing your artwork out to other people to finish is kind of challenging. It's kind of daunting, but it's exciting at the same time, because you never know what those people, anybody else, imagines your art to be. And so you kind of get, I'm kind of excited to see what people can come up with. Now this drawing here, if you haven't watched my previous videos, I'm working on 12 by 9 Bristol board, and I'm using Micron pens. I'm using the 8 through 12, so that's 8, 10, 12 pens, and they are really thick. So I'm doing all of this baseline work with an 8, which is, for microns, it's a pretty chunky marker. The 12 is nearly as thick as a Sharpie, just a little more narrow, but a little more controllable. So I use the 8 to really knock in my lines and commit what I want, and then go over it with the 10 and 12. Now right here I was about to just kind of freehand something into the tapestry and second guessed, because I want to put something in there, but I want to have the pencil mark to follow, because I know if I don't, it won't look great compared to everything else. So I'm glad I paused. It's interesting, as I'm finding creating the YouTube videos is a pretty big challenge, and so for the audience out there watching, it'd be great if you could support me by subscribe, like, and share. I thought it was very cliche to ask for that, but at the end of the day, it's what the system, it's how it works. So sharing the video with somebody who appreciates pencil work and inking and cartooning, even if you don't do that, would be really appreciated, because I think sharing your art or your interests with other people is a way to connect with people. So right here I am working through my stained glass window, and hope to see some vibrant, awesome colors in that at some point. I think after going through the 31 days, I might do a video of me just coloring one of these myself. Maybe do a couple of them like that, just to kind of have some fun. Myself coloring it and how I imagine it. But, you know, for the cover art for the book itself, I'll need something colored, and we'll see how deep I can get into that. Here I'm using a 12 marker to give my heavy outline, to kind of pull things forward and push things back. It's amazing what just adding an outline to something can do to really lock in your drawing. Even if there's tons of shading and things, just throwing an edge line on something, it can just make things pop so fast. Again, if you've made it this far into the video, thanks for sticking with me. And I hope you enjoy what I'm making. Sorry about the earthquake coming. I have to learn how to stabilize the camera. And thanks for watching.